Okay, so I'm going to repeat the prompt just so it's stated. Um, what leadership qualities do you currently possess, and how can you cultivate and develop these skills? How can you practice the qualities you lack? Anybody want to start?
I can if nobody else wants to.
Go for it.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna break this down. There are really three questions here. What leadership qualities do you currently possess? Skimming through the chapter, I noted that I feel I'm naturally gifted at like emotional intelligence. The chapter talked about that quite a bit. I'm almost always aware of how I am feeling. I don't know if this means anything to you guys, but I'm an Enneagram 4, so I'm very, very in touch with my own feelings and I'm definitely aware of how other people are feeling around me. So that's just kind of something that comes naturally to me. I'm a very empathetic, naturally compassionate person. So like I really love people. I love working with people. I love empowering people. That's something that I'm really passionate about. Cultivating and developing these skills, you you know, especially working at a public library, you have to have empathy and compassion on the people who are coming in. As you guys know, I'm sure you work with people from all walks of life, really impoverished people, really well-off people. We kind of run the gambit, right? Um, and as far as like leadership skills, seeing people as people instead of just like seeing them as a wheel and like a cog in a machine or something like that really comes in handy. And just interpersonal skills largely I think is something that you naturally have or you don't. But it's definitely something that you can cultivate by working with the public, working with people, learning how to build relationships with people in a healthy way. Third one, how can you practice the qualities that you lack? Something that I really lack as far as leadership skills is dealing with conflict. As I said, I love people. I love working with people. My natural tendency is to be a people pleaser. So if somebody's not meeting expectations or something along those lines, it's really, really hard for me to address that. It's something that I've been aware of for a long time, and it's something that I've kind of chipped away at, trying to get better at healthy conflict, being okay with healthy conflict. Um, and I practice those things. I literally consciously work on these things in a safe place at home. I have a foster son. He's 12. Um, he's a very angsty preteen. And like even asking him to do little things really bothers me because I'm like, oh, what if he gets mad? What if he gets upset? What's gonna happen? He's gonna be mad. Um, and I I hate to say that I like practice on my son, but like, I
I
kind of
do.
do.
I mean,
Like literally before I hopped on here, I was like, hey Gabe, can you help me and do the dishes? And I know that sounds ridiculous. I know you guys are thinking I'm crazy, but like it's really hard for me. It's really hard for me because he's an angsty preteen. He might have an outburst. I don't know. But then like taking that into the workplace, I try to build up my stamina as far as, hey, this wasn't quite what we were looking for. Maybe let's try this a different way. And even like setting up an expectation ahead of time to get the result that I want can be really hard for me because I'm just naturally like that's not my natural gift. I'm not naturally an assertive person. So I think I covered the question. Did I?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm just
you're good. And
y'all gotta shut
don't
me
feel
up.
bad that you practice on your family about the conflict, because that's how most people learn how to deal with conflict, their family, and then they develop it with the outside world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, especially if you have siblings. you're gonna practice conflict with them because there's gonna be conflict with siblings.
That's a good
And
point.
so,
Yeah, like
and
for,
then, yeah,
True.
yeah,
you're gonna get in fights with your parents too.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like for some reason, like my husband and I, we don't really have a lot of conflict. Like I ask him to do something and he does it and he takes criticism really well. I don't like criticize my husband, but but like it's so much harder with my 12-year-old foster son, like he's not mine yet. It's an odd dynamic. So
Again, don't feel worried about that. I have a 12-year-old brother and a 13-year-old sister, and I sometimes am fearful about getting on their case because they terrify me sometimes. It's
right,
that age
preteens are
where they
so
just have
scary.
all the attitude, and you never know how they're gonna react.
Right.
So
Exactly.
again, don't feel bad.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the affirmation. All right, who's next?
I guess I'll go. What leadership qualities do you currently possess? For the most part, I think like I said, I like you said, I can understand how people feel pretty well and understand my own feelings and like, okay, I'm also able to communicate pretty well, in my opinion, with most people. Of course, you always got those few people that you're like, I don't know what they're trying to like. They're like emotionally blocked off and all that. Some people are like that. But for the most part, I'm able to like kind of gauge people's reaction and feelings and able to communicate well with them. I One thing that I probably could work on is sometimes I get bogged down by details of my work and don't always see the big picture of something. And I think that's a major skill that leadership needs to have, be able to see that big picture, and I get bogged down by the details where it's just like, oh wait, I probably should look at everything and not just this little area. Able to do pretty good with time management for the most part. And I think that's a very important thing about being a manager or a leader, being able to like schedule everything. You don't want to you have timelines. You have deadlines that you have to meet, and so the leadership need to be on top of not only yourself but others as well. I think I'm pretty good at also keeping my biases in check. Because you want to keep in check your biases about, like, let's say, okay, I don't like this coworker, but obviously you can't show it if you're a leader. You have to pretty much treat everyone equal, or everybody picks up on it and they're like, oh, okay, you're playing favorites. And everyone's had at least one manager that plays favorites, that only gives raises or promotions to their favorites, and they may not always be the best worker, but because that person is their favorite, obviously they're gonna get their promotions or raises, and that just really plummets the morale of the workplace, in my opinion, if managers do that. Way that we can cultivate and develop skills of management is pretty much take feedback. You have to be open to feedback, whether it's from other people in other managers or your own supervisors or even your employees. You have to be able to take feedback from them, because if you don't take feedback, how are you going to learn how to be better? How are you going to learn to improve yourself, your workplace, and the work that you do if you're not able to take feedback well? So yeah.
Sounds pretty good. I'll proceed. My leadership qualities. I have a few that I tend to fall back on. Like the subordinates that I currently have. I usually tell them when they come in fresh that I tell them, hey, there's some fundamental things that we have to do. Like, you want to do good here, take initiative, but please ask me 100 times of the same thing. I want to see that you're trying. And also, if you're going to take initiative, ask me if you can at the right moment, and then we can schedule whatever you feel like you want to help us on to do it, because we want to promote you and do better. We want you to do better. Also, you don't have to be buddy buddy with everybody, and I tell them straightforward. You're not gonna like everybody that you're with for some odd reason, but at least have some respect. At least have some camaraderie where you treat everybody basically nicely. Even with patrons can get on our nerves sometimes. They could be really rude. Uh, they could be coming from a different point in their life that they're very negative. So try to cultivate and become a little bit nice to everybody. Use your manners. Say hi, good morning. Do as much as you can. You don't have to be buddy buddy, but at least have some common respect with each other. Don't start playing around and joking around where you could lead into having arguments or anything of that nature, because it's work, you know? We're here to work.
Mhm.
Basically, that has been doing pretty good, because I've been listening to a lot of our subordinates to see what they are their passions, and some of them tend to do different things or ask me, "Hey, what about this?" or "Hey, what about that?" Or if I see that they have an inclination, because I deal with the AV setups, some people have a lot of experience with technology, and I bring them along. I'm like, "What do you know about this new piece of equipment that we just got?" "I know this and this and this about it. I know how to hook it up. I know how to use this in this manner." Okay. So the next time people tell me, "Hey," or one of the higher ups tells me, "Hey, we need to use this type of equipment this way. Can we use it in a different manner?" I tell them, "Hey, I want you in that meeting with me. I'll clear it up if you're willing to come with me." And they get excited. They get that passion. They get it's like a rush to them when I see it in their eyes. They're like, "Yes, I'm gonna be there." I was like, "Okay," because I'm not always going to be here. So if I'm not here, you could take troubleshoot and you could do everything else. I'm gonna be out sick. Uh, I have a family too. You know, I have parents that are aging. They have to step out of work sometimes. I go on vacation or whatnot. Who's going to pick up the pieces? Who's going to still be here to handle the basically the programs that we have? And they start to think about it. Well, I can do that. Well, yes, you can. I always tell everybody, even patrons, that I believe in them. There's a lot of people that come in, like how it's been said before. A lot of people that I notice, they have trouble with computers, but really they don't have trouble with computers. They just lack a little bit of confidence in themselves. And I tell them, "I believe in you. You can do this." And I help them to even develop their own selves. And they're like, "Nobody has told me that before." And sometimes that keeps them down. The mentality keeps you down into where I can't be better than what I think I can do. And sooner or later, I told him, "You see, I told you you could do this. I think you're testing me out," because I joke around with a lot of people or patrons. I was like, "You're testing me out to see how good I am, right?" They just laugh and tell me, "No, no, like, you know a lot." I was like, "No, like, I just come here and try. And that's all you got to do is try." Um, that's just a little bit of what I've been using lately that has been working. Um,
I
it's a
mean,
way
yeah,
to
definitely
cultivate.
encouraging employees is definitely a very important part of being a leader.
Oh, yes, it does go a long way, because adding to that also is I try to listen to their ideas and try to let them think. I'm like, they come to me with some issue and I tell them, "Okay, what would you do?" And excuse me, and I'll tell you what I would do. But I like to get different perspectives. I like to listen to everything. Even if I don't agree with it, it's going to help me out. So I listen to them and I'm like, "Okay, within the stuff that we can do, we can't do this, but we can do this. Do you want to present it? Because I'll give you the credit. Let's go talk to them. I'll be behind you. You talk to the higher ups about it, because they need to know that you're also doing well, that you're thinking about this." And they're like, "Yeah, would you come with me?" I was like, "I'll go with you. This is all you. If you need me to step in, tell me what I need to step in for." And then they start to tell me the details. But on that, yes, a lot of encouragement, because they have so many different ideas. There's so many different perspectives that has helped my organization work out a little bit better and more efficient. And now, like you said before, it's a form of also giving them encouragement. So the good thing about it is that after they started doing that with me, they started opening up a little bit to the other partners that I have around and the other librarians to say, hey, can I do this? Hey, can I do that? And man, they're starting to learn and pick up stuff like crazy, like really quick. And I was like, wow, I didn't know this can really work. And we have a diverse team. So it works, you know?
Work,
And building
work-
off of that,
Yeah.
on the encouragement, it's also important that you like a leadership understands that sometimes employees are going to be better than you at something.
Yes,
They
they are.
be better at you than something, and you can't like get mad or bothered or discourage them because they know more. Instead, you have to encourage them. Hey, that is actually brilliant. That's a good job. I didn't think of it, or I don't know how to do that. You just have to encourage that, that wanting to learn, wanting to be better.
Exactly. I totally agree with you.
yeah, working in an environment where you feel safe and you feel empowered, that's the kind of environment that people want to stay at and work at for a long time. So
Mhm.
good on you. That's awesome.
And not micromanage.
Oh, I hate micromanagers.
Amen.
I'm sorry.
Oh my
I
goodness.
hate them.
That's the biggest killer of organizations. And people don't get that. I don't understand why.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah. Give people a chance, and more often than not, they'll surprise you.
Oh, yes. And I feel it's also a bit of confidence. Like a lot of people, it shows how they feel inside on their work, or how they treat others. And I'm like, no, it doesn't have to be this way. You could get mad at me for all you want, but if you get rid of me or fire me, the problem is still going to be there until they're going to fire you. And that's happened to me before in other organizations. So I'm kind of, I don't want to make anybody mad, but if I disagree, I try to be as diplomatic as I can to say, hey, why don't you see it from this perspective? Because I think we're going to have consequences if we keep on going this route. So,
All right, let's get Anna to go because there's only 10 minutes left on this thing, and I just want to make sure Anna gets her part in.
Thank you. So I'm interviewing for a job on Monday, so I've been practicing these answers like an interview question. So what qualities do I currently possess? So I got to direct a short documentary, and I had a documentary team. And one thing that the professor who was mentoring me as I directed this documentary mentioned is that I was able to work with people with various diverse backgrounds and personalities and get them to work uniformly to the completion of this project. And that is something I'm really proud of myself in doing, because sometimes people butted heads and didn't see eye to eye, and I was able to mediate those conflicts. And then something that's hard for me right now with cultivating and developing my skills is I'm currently don't have a job, but what I'm doing is at home, I'm setting goals for myself, and I'm trying to be self-motivated to get myself to learn and grow. And I'm currently in school, and it's an online program, so it's all done with self-motivation. There's no one. I'm not going to classes at set times. It's all set by myself. So I have a lot of self-motivation to try to develop my skills. And one of the skills that I'm kind of lacking right now is confidence. It's really hard to apply for jobs, and it's hard to seek feedback, kind of like how we mentioned before. Just you need feedback, and I've been asking for feedback, but haven't really been getting any feedback on how I can improve my interviewing skills. So that's been really difficult for me lately. But with school, I've been building up my confidence again because I've been growing my library skills. So
you're going to do great.
Yeah. And it's good. Like a lot of people need that feedback and encouragement, and some employers don't do that. So people get discouraged because they're like, I'm not getting any feedback, any encouragement. So I think, yeah, encouraging and giving feedback is very important. I hated when I was applying to jobs and they just ghost me. They wouldn't send me any information, and they're just like, okay, am I not hired? Am I hired? Why am I not hired? What did I do wrong? Can y'all just give me something?
Right.
Yeah.
I feel that.
I'm waiting to hear back from a job interview that I had like, I don't know, like 2 weeks ago now.
Oh,
Heard anything, so it's
What
okay.
I would always do is I would wait about 3 weeks to a month and then call them to get an answer, because sometimes they just don't. And I'm just like, I'd rather call them and get a solid yes or no than be there waiting on by the phone, hoping to hear from them.
Right.
But yeah.
I feel like we all had some good answers.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Good self-evaluation.
yeah.
Oh yeah, good group we have going on around here.
Yeah,
I like our group. It's good.
Yeah, I dig it too.
it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.